At first glance, the clurichaun and the leprechaun are so similar, it's hard not to wonder. Are these foot-high fae from Irish folklore really two distinct entities, or are they one and the same? The answer isn't as straightforward as you might think. Even W.B. Yeats had trouble distinguishing between clurichauns and leprechauns, leading him to ponder in his 1888 book, Fairy and Folktales of the Irish Peasantry, quote, "Are these one spirit in different moods and shapes?" End quote. I mean, that's basically the question I just asked, only Yeats's version is a little more poetic. Go figure. But here are the facts. Clurichauns and leprechauns are both solitary Irish fairies, and as such, they're both short, old, withered, and renowned for their mischievousness and overall unpleasantness. However, while leprechauns tend to live in secluded places and obsess over shoemaking and treasure hoarding, clurichauns tend to live in basements and wine cellars and obsess over drinking all of the alcohol they can find. As a result, quote, "Some suppose he, the clurichaun, is merely the leprechaun on a spree," end quote. This according to Yeats. Yes, the hypothesis is that the clurichaun is not a distinct being, but rather a sort of migratory leprechaun, one who has left the comforts of his secluded home in the countryside to go on an eternal bender in someone's basement. Here's how Nicholas O'Kearney explained the clurichaun's tendency toward tippling in his 1855 work, The Festivities at the House of Conan of Cansleeve. Quote, "He, the clurichaun, was a jolly, red-faced, drunken little fellow, and was ever found in the cellars of the debauchee, Bacchus-like, astride of the wine-butt, with a brimful tankard in hand, drinking and singing away merrily. Any wine cellar known to be haunted by this sprite was doomed to bring its owner to speedy ruin." End quote. There's an obvious solution here though, right? If you've got a clurichaun haunting your cellar, just pack up and move. Move to a new house. Turns out, it's not that simple. As revealed in a story about a clurichaun named Little Wildbean, which appeared in Thomas Keatley's 1828 book, The Fairy Mythology, clurichauns make no qualms about following a home's previous owner to a new residence. And that's because clurichauns don't really haunt cellars. They haunt the booze stored in those cellars. They follow the supply. Granted, there do seem to be places in Ireland where clurichauns don't go. According to Yeats, the clurichaun is a native of County Monaghan and is virtually unknown both in Connacht to the west and in the far north of Ireland. W.Y. Evans Wentz, meanwhile, places the clurichaun further south, referring to it as a, quote, Munster sprite in his 1911 book, The Fairy Faith in Celtic Countries. And this aligns with Keatley's observation that, quote, "In the county of Cork, it would seem that the clurichaun used to enact the part of Nis or Bogart," end quote. Now, in English folklore, a Nis is a type of household spirit or hobgoblin, while a Bogart is a generic term for a spirit that frightens people. These feel like apt comparisons, given what we already know about the clurichaun, but if you want more proof that the clurichaun is keen on frightening people, look no further than D.R. McNally Jr.'s description of the clurichaun from his 1888 book, Irish Wonders. Quote, "The clurichaun of Monaghan is a little dandy, being gorgeously arrayed in a swallow-tailed evening coat of red with green vest, white breeches, black stockings, and shoes that, for the shine of 'em, 'ud shame a looking-glass. His hat is a long cone without a brim, and is usually set jauntily on one side of his curly head. When greatly provoked, he will sometimes take vengeance by suddenly ducking and poking the sharp point of his hat into the eye of the offender. Such conduct is, however, exceptional, as he commonly contents himself with soundly abusing those at whom he has taken offense, the objects of his anger hearing his voice, but seeing nothing of his person." End quote. Yikes. So it turns out the clurichaun is not only short, but short-tempered, regularly shouting at people from the shadows and occasionally resorting to physical violence. This might be a step beyond mere leprechaun mischief, no? Indeed, the clurichaun's darker demeanor lends credence to the idea that it is a distinct being from its more well-known cousin. It's also worth noting that the clurichaun is described as wearing a vest of green, a color typically reserved for trooping fairies according to Irish fairy lore. In every early description I've encountered, leprechauns are never clad in green, despite the modern associations between the two. They're always in red. So does the clurichaun's distinctive green vest, combined with its bad attitude, prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it is intrinsically different from the leprechaun? Thomas Crofton Croker, author of the 1844 book Fairy Legends and Traditions of the South of Ireland, didn't think so. And I quote, "The clurichaun of the county of Cork, the lorichan of Kerry, and the lorigodon of Tipperary appear to be the same as the leprechaun or leprechaun of Leinster and the logorimen of Ulster, and these words are probably all provincialisms of the Irish for a pygmy." End quote. And this leads us to the etymology of clurichaun. The name comes from the Irish clurichaun, the most popular translation of which is small curved body, although chatterhead and cloverhead are other, funner alternatives. As for the etymology of leprechaun, it's complicated, and I've got a whole nother video devoted to it. But the bottom line is clurichaun and leprechaun probably mean the same thing. Or rather, to Croker's earlier point, they are both provincialisms for a little person, as leprechaun likely comes from the Irish lucr pan, meaning little man or small body. So the question becomes, does sharing an etymology necessitate that clurichauns and leprechauns also share an identity? I'll let you be the judge. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and poke those like and subscribe buttons with the top of your pointy clurichaun hat. That would be huge. Sorry. And if you're looking for your next great read, allow me to shamelessly plug Neon Druid, an anthology of urban Celtic fantasy which features Celtic mythology-inspired short stories from 16 incredible authors. And there's one by me in there too. You'll never guess which one. As always, my name is I.E. Kneverday, creator of IrishMyths.com. Thanks for coming out.